Hi, I am the alter ego of your catechist. I am the saint. And today we're going to talk about, kind of wrap up what the Holy Spirit's all about. We're going to give you a couple of other events where the Holy Spirit and the Trinity, remember? Holy Father, Son, and Holy Spirit were manifested again. So, right before the Passion of the Christ, remember when he was crucified and died for us? Well, he gathered three of his beloved apostles. He gathered James, Peter, and John. And he went up to a mountain and he did what is called the transfiguration. The transfiguration was a glimpse of his almightiness. It was a glimpse of heaven. So when they're over there praying, suddenly Jesus Christ comes up next to people that were dead already, but they were considered saints, leaders. Moses, for instance, people in the past, right? So not only that, but Jesus Christ looked totally different. He looked like, no, not like me, but he looked totally different. He looked like from out of this world. His clothes were all bright and white. So these three apostles, they got scared. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? So they didn't even know what to say. And they said, like, one of them, John, used to be a tent builder. So he said, I know what to do. I'm a tent builder. Let's build up a tent and live here because this is awesome in here. Of course, they were looking at heavens. But Jesus Christ, we had to end that, right? So once that wraps up, before it wraps up, the voice of God the Father, it's heard and says, listen to him, this is my son, right? And then there's a light manifesting, that caused this brightness of Jesus Christ. So right there you have again the Trinity, the manifestation of the three persons of God. Obviously Jesus Christ himself, but then also God the Father, with that voice coming in from the clouds, and the clouds and the manifestation of the light, that was the Holy Spirit. You see, the Holy Spirit is the one that puts things to work. Continue on. So after the transfiguration, he gathered them in what we know now is as the Last Supper, where he gathered them all, and he kind of like he wanted to make sure that they would stay put, they would stay focused and together in what was coming, right? Because he knew he was going to be dead, he was going to be sacrificed, and this was not the plan of a lot of the apostles. So they thought he was going to be all this mighty king, he was going to derrocate the Romans and whatnot. But all surprise, right? There was a big surprise at hand for them. So he had to make sure that they would stay together. And in the Last Supper, he established what we know now as communion, as the Eucharist. He invented Eucharist, on that same day, that first day of the communion. He mentioned those key words saying, this is the bread, but this is my bread. This is me, myself, and I giving myself up to you. So do this in memory of me, because of what's going to happen. I'm going to be sacrificed. I'm going to be dying for you. So I want you to this sacrifice to be worth it. And I want you to repeat it every Sunday, and as soon as you can too, like every Monday, every Tuesday, but at least every Sunday, right? And that's why we have Mass every Sunday, because we're celebrating that same sacrifice. But not only the sacrifice, but also the resurrection, which was the triumph of his sacrifice, the payoff of his sacrifice. So also, you're going to be participating in your loser catechist is going to be giving you some activity. And it has a lot to do with what we just went through, the transfiguration. Okay? So there's going to be 3 questions. And we're going to be asking you to develop those 3 questions. What would you ask James, John, and Peter about what took place in that mountain, the transfiguration of Jesus? Give me 3 questions that you would have asked him, right? Exchange your questions with other candidates. You can, if it's online, you're going to be posting them on the chat. and then we'll analyze that. Well, your catechist will. Ta-ta!